Trade Union Congress petition Labour Minister. 6 billion kina for public service. And Prime Minister greeted by opposition leader in Vanimo. Good evening and welcome. This is Monday's news. I'm Kilawani. Billions of kina have been paid out over the years to an underperforming public service. This has now resulted in a long overdue review of the public service payroll system. The announcement was made by Gary Jufa as chairman of the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reforms and Service Delivery. Chairman of the Special Parliamentary Committee on Public Sector Reform and Service Delivery and Governor for Oro, Gary Jufa, today announced the long overdue review of the public services payroll system.
The Public Sector Review Committee has been hard at work undertaking a number of reform activities, including deliberate efforts to look at immediate concerns that affect the performance of the public sector or that affect the delivery of the goods and services by the public sector. The payroll audit was actually initiated by the O'Neill government in 2018, but for whatever reason, it sat there stagnant for some time, no one processing it, no one moving it, and in fact, a testament to the very cumbersome bureaucracy that tends to delay the delivery of goods and services in Papua New Guinea.
Governor Jufa said Deloitte, the international accounting firm, has been engaged for the review, who will work with Department of Personnel Management.
Very pleased to announce that the contract has finally been finalized for the payroll audit to commence. Today we witnessed the signing of the contract between the state, represented by NPC, Department of Personnel Management, and signing with Deloitte, a reputable international accounting firm, to immediately commence the payroll audit to review and understand why we have such a huge payroll blowout every year.
The 6-month period review will cover the effectiveness of the public service current payroll system and its human resource framework. Jufa says with 6 billion kina allocated for 130,000 public servants for the year 2022, the actioning of the recommendations for this review should modernize the public services payroll system and save a substantial amount of money.
The 2022 budget is staring at a 6 billion kina blowout, primarily from this payroll, the government payroll, that we cannot fathom why it is costing this country so much. So this audit will allow us to have a better understanding of this, and it is anticipated that we will make significant savings for the country. And we undertook to ensure that this very vital activity was carried out so that the government can make savings. People of Papua New Guinea can also have answers as to why we have such a huge payroll blowout every year. We need to understand, where is this money coming from? Why is it being paid? Who are being paid? For what? That's what needs to be understood.
Prime Minister James Marape spent today in Vanimo, West Sepik Province. He was given the honors to officially open 2 major projects in Vanimo town: the completed Provincial Assembly building and a state-of-the-art Provincial Education Office. Both buildings took about 2 years to complete. At the Provincial Education Office, the Prime Minister emphasized the good use of the Provincial Support Improvement Program funds, or PSIP funds. 5 million kina from Sundown Provincial Government's PSIP funds was spent to construct this modern-day building. The Prime Minister also inspected the newly constructed terminal before leaving on AS Sangha. Morebet Tertiary Student Union throughout Papua New Guinea hosted their first seminar in Leh as a token of appreciation to the people and the provincial government. More than 500 students attended the seminar from all tertiary institutions in the country. The main was to help socio-economic development of the student and the province.
The Morebet Tertiary Students' Short Seminar was held last Friday at the Leh Secondary Hall. The seminar is one way the students will give back to the province in appreciation for the annual Gerson Sololu Scholarship by Morebet Provincial Government. Morebet Governor Ginson Saunu, who officiated in the event, encouraged these events to continue. He said the program helps both the students and the provincial government to identify issues affecting the province so they can be addressed.
Tertiary students, Lomorobe, only come organizing this land, and me, Amamas. Just like me, good because I'm all future leaders.
MTSU representatives of few universities also did some PowerPoint presentations advocating for environmental conservation and its impact to the people during the seminar. Jack Maru, a Vanimo forestry student at the University of Technology, says he is keen to go back to his village after graduating and help the people with agroforestry and its benefits.
They have to utilize the resources they have, like land, to promote cocoa forestry in terms of food crops, so that our people at the village, they can raise their own funds and promote economically to the province and the country as a whole.
MTSU President Ananias Kawasa said the program also supports the idea of bringing back all Moravian graduates to work in the province. He said the seminar creates an avenue to collect data for the students so they can seek employment opportunities in the province after graduating. Meanwhile, the students also called on both the provincial and national governments to look into supporting local SMEs at the village level and provide markets for agroforestry and cash crops for the people to help sustain their lives. Michael Tamtipais, National EMTV News, Leh.
You're watching National EMTV News. More stories after these messages. Welcome back to the news. The PNG Trade Union Congress, along with a coalition of workers' union bodies, presented a petition today to the Minister for Labour and Industrial Relations, Tomait Kapili. The petition seeks to address the dominant industry player levy and the no-jab, no-job policies, citing breaches of workers' rights and deprivation of their human dignity.
Since the introduction of the no-jab, no-job policy by various employers in the country in recent months, in light of the COVID-19 pandemic and the inclusion of the dominant industry player levy in the 2022 national budget, the PNG Trade Union Congress and partner union bodies have been very vocal about workers' rights in regards to these policies. And today, the coalition of trade union bodies leaders decided to come together and petition the government on these two policies.
There is a complete abuse of power right now as it's happening. What we're seeing is an abuse of power. People making unilateral decisions without consulting with people. We are living in a democracy. We're not living in an autocracy. And in a democracy, consultation forms a key part of government.
How do you refuse to solve a problem you're supposed to be solving? How will you be sensitive to very sensitive issues that affects not just union members in the formal sector, but the entire workforce of this country? It's just silly, and it's something that, borders on insanity.
If we allow this to go on, then are we a democratic country anymore? Is Papua New Guinea a democratic nation? Are we penalizing people for being successful? Just think about it. You paid all the fees and everything that is due, and you make your money. And at the end of the day, you're happy to celebrate that money. And then somebody comes and says, give me part of that money. Will you be happy?
Or any government body, agent, to deviate from the government's policy is in subordination to the national policy put by the government. Let me make it very clear. Those departments, those organizations who are propagating mandatory vaccination to get a job is undemocratic and unethical.
Government has been mandated to protect its people, to enable the interests of its people. And this is in direct conflict of that mandate. Calling also to all our members of parliament, call out what is wrong. Stand up and speak up against it. If you can't do it now, you won't be able to do it after 2022. Won't happen.
The country is made out of the labor force. The economy of this country is made by the workers of this country. And they must be very, very mindful when they are coming up with all these policies. Because sooner or later, the consequences of this will be worse. Economy of this country will drop. And what we are going to see is that the other countries will come and rule Papua New Guinea.
With the Minister for Labour and Industrial Relations failing to turn up at the PNG-TUC headquarters to receive the petition as expected and scheduled earlier, the next course of action was discussed and agreed upon, which was to convoy to the Department of Labour and Industrial Relations office. This was upon the PNG-TUC executive's communication with the Minister for Labour and Industrial Relations. So despite formal arrangements, the minister accepted to receive the petition at his departmental office, with the minister promising to present the petition to the Prime Minister and the National Executive Council for deliberation. Lagai Pogara MP and Minister for Labour and Industrial Relations Tomait Kapili received the petition this afternoon at around 3 p.m. at the Department of Labour and Industrial Relations office. The petition was presented by PNG Trade Union Congress representatives, with the petition focusing on two main agendas: the no jab, no job policy and the dominant market player levy.
Either way, you may take it as it affects the workers, but yes, it will affect the workers. It goes back to the government coffers and it comes out to the people again through the budgetary process.
Upon receiving the petition this afternoon, Minister Kapili says the market dominance player levy is aimed at creating fairness in the telecommunications and banking sectors of the country. Minister Kapili also says that the no jab, no job policy is aimed at providing workplace safety for various employers in the country.
People have democratic right. Our constitution calls for democracy. Everyone has the right. I have the right. President of TUC has the right. Secretary General has the right. All the members of all the trade union, every one of us have the right. So we haven't, the government did not impose a policy to make people get vaccinated. This is what's happening in each employee's own workplaces.
Dennis Orere, National EMTV News.
More than 40 people were part of a community-based helpers training in Ley, aimed at training community counsellors. Trainer Ruby Matane said it is a training that allows counsellors to identify those with problems in communities and help refer them to relevant authorities.
These are participants of the community-based helpers training held at the St. Andrew's Lutheran Church in Ley. They come from various communities in the city. Last week, they were given counselors training. Trainer Ruby Matane said it is a course that allows them to identify issues and offer guidance accordingly.
We don't have plenty of counselors in the country, so this one is used to train more people in the community to provide that helping hand wherever they are, like church, teachers, police, welfare officers.
She said with many issues existing in communities, there is a need for trained counselors, people who can listen to those in need of counseling. The training is based on a 4-step module that trains community members to be first aid responders to various issues in communities.
They learn the skills of counseling on how to approach people in need. How can you identify people with problems? You have to use some kind of tools, like in here we use the counseling skills to help us identify problems in people.
Masang Jerry is one of the participants who says he is eager to start implementing the training in his community.
But inside Lodisla, we plan something. We can deal one time all police, deal one time all leaders inside the community, how law act one time, act upon law one time something we plan lining all this law.
Lucy Kopana, National EMTV News, Lae.
Bus owners of the Route 4 Buses Association in Lae stopped their services today. They are frustrated at the bad road conditions and the increase in fuel prices. Bus owners said business has been affected, and the recent hike in fuel prices has also resulted in a big decline in profit. Route 4 runs the length of the Labuta LLG in Nawaib district to the main market in Lae.
All the Route 4 buses were parked at the Pahom Junction this morning in protest over bad road conditions and the rise in fuel prices. Bus owners said these issues have affected the daily profit of their business. Buses are now making 200 to 300 kina in a day. The previous profit was 500 to 800 kina in a day. Another concern raised was the closure of the back road route from Bumayong to the main market over roadworks. Buses have lost customers along the back road, and the traffic jam along the front road consumes fuel quickly. Route 4 covers the length of the main market in Lae to Posi Gubadik and Situm in Nawai's Labuta LLG. Bus owners who gathered this morning said they would come up with a proposal and present to the Provincial Transport Board to raise the bus fare from 3 kina to 4 kina to make up for the loss. Meanwhile, passengers along Route 4 were stranded this morning and had to walk to Bumayong to catch a PMV into Lae. Charlene Airy, National EMTV News, Lae.
Amstrad Space and co-partner Neonet hosted a business startup challenge in the month of November and today announced the winners. The aim is to establish a sustainable and profitable business concept. The challenge saw over 300 registered businesses that was narrowed down to 13 before the winners were announced.
The Amstrad Space and co-partner Neonet, with sponsor support from the PNG Australia Partnership, Steamships Group and Amstrad Holdings Limited, hosted a startup challenge in the month of November, highlighting the potentials of professional business growth among startups. According to the eSpace Director and CEO, Vanimo, the one-month virtual program saw more than 300 registered businesses at the start of November, of which 25 were selected, narrowing it down to 13 who finished off strong on the 30th of November in the startup pitch finals.
The main aim for the startup challenge is to bring this lean canvas methodology where, it's got really great concept where, you talk about your purpose, your vision, your mission, and looking at your cost structures, your revenue, and what you want to do to bring your business forward. And I know that some of us were new in this journey together, and for the first time we did a virtual startup challenge, and it was really amazing to see the success of it throughout. Though that it was new to everyone else that were new to the digital platform as well. But, I think going through the challenge, I'm sure you all have your experience that you can share with.
Steamships Group, a major sponsor of the challenge, managed to support individuals who were involved in the startup challenge. Project and Business Development Manager Alfie Weston congratulated the finalists that there are a lot of promising startups that have the potential to mature into big businesses.
Presentations was really great, and it was brilliant to see a lot of really promising startup pitches, and really great to see a lot of you with a real sense of desire to help PNG grow, and a lot of your pitches had a real social focus to them, which I think was great to see. I think the whole startup challenge is an example of why we Steamships partner with Amstrad and Vani. I think throughout the process that you went through, she really gave you tools to be able to not only articulate your startups, but hopefully also give you a good way of looking at your businesses.
Also present at the event was Chairman for City Pharmacy Limited, Semahesh Patel, who was also a judge panelist of the Startup Challenge.
When I first came to PNG, I was an SME. I never thought I would be where I am today. And what made it successful was just the sheer passion and drive. Never give up. I mean, people people see what CPL is now, but twice in the 37 years we could have gone bankrupt. But what you learn from that is giving you more strength to go on and on and on. So despite what happens, today I think we'll announce 2 or 3 winners, but whatever projects you've got, as Elfie said, there's been great presentation. And just to have the courage to stand up and do a pitch, it's not easy, it's daunting. So never give up. And, people say, what's the theory for success? It's surely, it's the passion and the drive you have. You're the master of your destinies.
At the end of the conference, the inaugural winner of the Startup Business Challenge was announced. Lin Consultancy Limited, founded by Loretta Bella, was announced winner, focusing on health strategic consultation, which includes consultation to the CPL Foundation. Jamie Harrow, National EMTV News.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina closed unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina is buying $0.2775 $0.3929 Australian dollars, $0.4073 New Zealand dollars, and 30.72 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee and cocoa closed higher, copper closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, palm oil and copper closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed lower, the ASX 200 is trading higher, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower.
This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
Looking at the weather forecast for tonight, southern region, Port Moresby and Poponeta, patchy showers and possible thunderstorms easing, then partly cloudy. Daru and Kerema, partly cloudy with chances of showers. Alotau, partly cloudy. Momase, Lae, cloudy with some rain showers and possible thunderstorms. Medang, Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with few showers. For the New Guinea Islands region, all centers cloudy with rain periods and possible thunderstorm. Looking at the Highlands region, all centers mostly cloudy with brief showers, then morning fog. Forecast for small crafts for the next 24 hours. Waters of southern PNG, Indonesian border through Torres Strait to Daru to Kiwai Islands, to Kerema to Yule Island to Hood Point, to Samarai Islands with waters of Samarai Islands, to Cape Vogel and eastern and western Milne Bay Islands with waters north of Cape Vogel, through Huon Gulf to Finchafen with waters of West New Britain and West New Britain, and with waters of New Ireland to East New Britain and Bougainville, seas 0.5 to 1.3 meters. Waters of Finchafen through Vitias Dampier Straits to CSC Long Islands, seas 0.5 to 1.5 meters. Waters north of Long Island to Medang to Wewak to Vanimo and northern PNG Indonesian border, and with waters of Manus and its western group of islands, seas 0.5 to 2 meters. Ocean forecasts for PNG areas: coral seas, seas slight to moderate with southeast winds of 10 to 20 knots. Solomon seas, seas slight with southeast to southwest winds of 10 to 15 knots with some gusts over western sector. Bismarck seas, seas moderate to rather rough with west to northwest winds of 15 to 25 knots with some gusts over western sector. Pacific Ocean seas moderate with northwest to northerly winds of 15 to 20 knots with some gusts over western sector.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoniPlus, with you always.
And that's the news, sports and weather for today, Monday, 6th of December 2021. Until next time, have a pleasant week ahead. Be safe. Bye for now.